Hey guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
We're two lifelong friends and musicians, but when we're not playing gigs, we like to talk games.
And today, on the Game & Gig podcast, we are revisiting our experience with GameFly and talking about Google Stadia.
Six months ago, we made a podcast where we basically went over GameFly. We talked about its features. At that time, neither of us had ever used it. We just kind of talked about it to find out if we thought the service was worth it. Well, since then, I've been using GameFly. I basically used that podcast to convince myself to use the service.
Yeah, it was a very self-serving podcast.
We have both been using GameFly. I've been using it this entire time. I think you used it for just over the summer.
Yeah, I used it for a while and ended up canceling. Actually, I tried to cancel the first time, and they did like the classic thing where they're like, well, we'll give you this for free. And I was like, no, I'm leaving. And they were like, well, fine, we'll give you this for free. And they gave me like a month of like the Mac Daddy subscription.
Yeah.
And I was like, fine, whatever. And I then just canceled it because I have too many games in the backlog. I wasn't using it. And it was just like this pressure in my mind to like make sure I didn't keep a game too long or, so it just wasn't working out for my current place in this world. Right. But that doesn't mean I wouldn't use it if I didn't have such a backlog.
Right. Well, and my experience was significantly different than yours. I've been basically using GameFly as my main way to get games for these past 6 months. And so I thought today we could look over the service, kind of talk about my experience and your experience with what we've had this past 6 months and what it's been like, and is it worth it? I've kind of been using this as an experiment. So,
and it was also kind of a replacement for like those subscription services for you. Like you canceled your Game Pass and all that for it. So.
Yep. Canceled Game Pass and decided
to
go this way as instead. So what is the experience like? What is it like to use GameFly? First thing that you should know if you're interested in this is that it is done through the mail.
The snail mail.
Yes. Done through the U.S. mail system. And I'll tell you,
Postal Service.
The Postal Service. That's what it's called. The Postal Service is a band.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they are.
But so there is some like things that happen because it's through the mail. You have to wait on games. It's not like you can get it right that moment. It's not like buying a digital game. You have to wait a couple days to get it shipped to you.
You do.
And then you have to ship it back. And then so there is some downtime in that. So it is done through the mail.
You have to interact with your mailbox. Keep that in mind.
So,
that little flag on the side, you got to raise that bad boy.
Yeah. And you work with a queue system. So you queue up games that you want to play, and they typically send you whatever game is at the top of your queue if they can. If it's not available, they send you the second one, and then they just kind of move down the list. I will say that in general, my experience has been that they almost always send you the very first game on the top of your queue.
Yeah, I always got the game on the top of my queue. And before we move on, I did, something I realized during this time with GameFly? My mailbox doesn't have a flag on it.
It doesn't?
I never knew that because I've never used it.
Oh, no. What did you do? Did you have to buy a flag?
No, I just put it in there, and the next day it was gone. And they just took it anyway.
Well,
which is crazy if you think about it, because, what if you, because sometimes I'll forget to check my mail for a day, and it'll go, 2 days, They don't, take the mail back out and send it back.
No.
But when they came back and saw this, little GameFly envelope, they took it.
It also wasn't addressed to you. It was addressed to GameFly, so they would have seen that.
But I don't think they take the stuff out of your mailbox every time and rifle through it to check the address. Anyway, I was impressed with their problem-solving skills. But they also might have just gotten used to picking up GameFly envelopes from your mailbox.
Right.
So when they saw one in mine, they were like, oh, I know what this is. I wondered if that's what it was.
Yeah, probably.
Anyway, it worked every time, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah. But in general, they almost have always sent you the one that's at the top of your queue.
For sure.
Now, in the app, they give you kind of an availability of the game. So they tell you if it's high availability, low availability, or it's not available at all. So you can kind of know, you can expect, if it says high availability, it's pretty much guaranteed that you are going to get the first game on your queue. If it says low, you might get it. And if it's not available, you're not going to get it. So you can kind of cater your queue to figure that out. So it definitely works pretty well.
Yeah.
Now, what about day one releases?
What about day one releases?
Did you didn't try any day one releases with GameFly, did you?
I did not.
I've tried a couple, And in general, there is a thing, like they usually send them to you. There is a thing called Game Lock. And with the current subscription I have, I can lock one game at a time. And that's like, day one releases that you're guaranteed to get it, at least within.
Unless the mail screws you over or something.
But they try to get it to you on day one. It's like they're at least guaranteed going to ship you the game. And it seems like they ship it a couple days before it actually releases so that it can get to you by the actual release day.
I wonder if anybody's ever gotten a game early because of that. Like, I wonder if the mail's ever been like super efficient. And
I kind of thought I was going to get a game early one time because they shipped it like so many days in advance. I was like, oh man, I'm going to get this like a day before it actually.
That would have been awesome.
But no, it came on the release day. Yeah, so I'm sure I bet that has happened.
Yeah.
Say you live close to like where they ship it out to, and it's like they ship it out early.
I bet that. Yeah, the USPS can probably pull that off. Now, if GameFly was using, FedEx, that wouldn't happen ever. You wouldn't ever get a game ever. Sorry, I'm not sour.
So I'm going to skip ahead in this outline we have here and move down to, would this work as your only method or way to access games?
Yeah, it looks like you've broken down some of your statistics here.
Yeah. So
you sure you want to out yourself like this?
Yeah, I'm going to. So in the past 6 months with GameFly, this is just my real numbers. I looked at my rental history and figured out how many games I did rent through the service of 6 months of use. And in that time, I was able to rent 28 games. Rent 28 in 6 months. Now, that means it's about 4.6 games a month or about one a week. So about one game a week I averaged, which is about what you kind of would expect. You get a game, you play it, and then you ship it off and you get a new one. I'd say that that's pretty good. I think
those are not rookie numbers, man.
No. And I was paying $16 a month for the service, which means that I averaged about $3.42 per game. That's what it cost me to play these games. Now, my costs are actually a bit more than that because you have the option to keep games. And out of those 28 games that I rented, I kept 4 of them.
What'd you keep?
I kept Splatoon.
Live Alive, I know.
Live Alive, Splatoon 3. Let me think, what else? Oh, Nier Automata. And then one more. I don't remember what it was. But
I kept one game.
I kept 4 games, yeah. So in that time, I kept 4. So those, and I think that my keep prices, they varied just depending on the game. So I definitely spent more than that. But if I had just rented and I'd sent all of them back, I would have only spent $3.42 a game, which I think is really good.
That's really good.
Yeah. That's
really
obviously way cheaper than if I had purchased 28 games.
Definitely.
I mean, a lot of these games were new releases. So, I mean, this would have been multi-hundreds of dollars, that I would have spent. And
right. And could you do something like this with like Game Pass? Yes. But you had access to like essentially anything you wanted.
Yeah, I wasn't bound to the library of Game Pass. I basically had any game, which is like so much better because you're talking about Game Pass.
I mean, you even got like 3DS games and things.
Oh yeah, I played all kinds of games: 3DS games, PlayStation games, Switch games, Xbox games. Really, I played a lot of Wii U games.
Yep.
And I wasn't bound to the Game Pass library. Game Pass has 300 something games. Yeah. Whereas on GameFly, there's thousands of games.
Right.
So many more games. So I like it better for that reason, because I don't have to be like, oh, if the game's there, I can play it. No, I can play whatever game I want through GameFly. So would this work as your only method to access games? I say yes, absolutely. In fact, I think it is the best value. I think it's even better value than Game Pass. Does it require more work? Yes. Is it as convenient as Game Pass? No. But if you're willing to work with the mail system and, wait a few days and manage your queue, it's by far, I think, the best way to game on a budget.
And it's not that hard to throw a game back in an
No,
envelope and
it's
stick it in
not
your
hard at
mailbox.
all. But it is less convenient than just pressing download and getting that instant gratification.
It is.
You have to plan. You have to think about what games you're playing, what games you have coming up. You got to constantly be organizing your queue.
But that's kind of fun if you're nerdy.
Yeah. For me, I liked it. I'm always sometimes during the day if I just get bored, I'll pull up, let Daniel cough. I'll pull up my GameFly app and I'll just organize my queue and think like, what game do I want to play next? Or like, I don't really want to play that one as much anymore. Let me move this one in its place. It's fun. So,
I really liked Game Pass for just those times when I wasn't sure I'd really like the game. like Dragon Ball Z Kakarot.
Oh, you're saying GameFly?
Yes, sorry, GameFly.
Yeah.
I mean, just in short, I mean, I know I didn't stick with it, but I really think it's great for that. If it's a game you think you're going to love, maybe just buy it. But,
Yeah.
you know, something you're on the fence about, it was awesome for that.
Yeah. I would say that, like, my overall takeaway from it so far has been that, like, if you want to use it and like be a power user, you know, I don't think it's the best for people who are going to play games that they know they're going to like. If you are a collector like me, because if I'm getting a game that I know I'm going to like, or I'm pretty dang positive I'm going to like, I don't like getting it through GameFly because I'm going to end up just wanting to keep it, and then I've wasted my like rental period and that time on a game that maybe, you know, I wish I'd got a game that I wasn't so sure about. The way if I didn't like it, I could send it back.
Yes.
You know, or maybe I would find that I did love it. But games that you know you're going to like, I would recommend maybe not using GameFly for that if you're a collector. If you don't care about collecting a game, still GameFly is awesome for it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
But also, another thing I found out is that GameFly is best for shorter games because
I could agree with that.
as you're, you know, because you're on a rental period. So you kind of like want to game the system and get as many games as possible.
Right. You can't get that $3.42 a game if they're all 100-hour RPGs.
Right. You're just not. Your cost is going to go way up at that point. I mean, it's still going to probably be cheaper than buying the game, but shorter games are like where it's at. You know, not all games are short, you know, but still, it's something to think about. I wouldn't say prioritize short games, but maybe prioritize short games.
Yeah, I think that's a good piece of advice.
Yeah. So now kind of to finish it off here, Daniel, do you think that in the future you will ever use GameFly again? Or do you think you've tried it and you think it's cool, but it's just not for you?
I think if I get through my massive backlog, we'll see. I don't know. It's hard to say because the light at the end of the tunnel for me working through my backlog is because I want to buy a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
And GameFly ain't going to help me with a Steam Deck.
Nope.
So I think there could be a time in the little more distant future when maybe I do get back to a place where I want to use GameFly. I could definitely see it. I mean, I definitely see the utility in it. I just have too many games that I can already play right now.
Right.
You know, if I get to a point where I don't, then yeah.
Yeah, and I will say that has been something that I've struggled with using GameFly is that I've struggled trying to balance playing games from my backlog and trying to play games from GameFly because games in my backlog are just sitting there.
Yep.
Whereas GameFly stuff, I actively pay a subscription for it.
Right.
And it makes me feel like I want to prioritize GameFly games, but then I leave out my backlog games and it's just like...
Well, that was the problem with me.
Yeah.
It was like there's always that anxiety in my mind like, well, I have to be using GameFly or I'm wasting my money.
Yeah.
So that's why I had to just pull the plug on it.
Right, yeah. And
but I think that makes sense that you like juggle these subscriptions because if you just pay for all of them all the time,
right,
you're not getting your money's worth.
No. And so, you know, I found that I haven't played as many games from my backlog as I would have probably had.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't have that many games in my backlog, and I enjoy playing games that, you know, that I'm unsure about. I like using GameFly for that service to find out maybe I'll love it or maybe I'll hate it. Either way, you know, it's a good, affordable way to try games that you're just on the fence about. And yeah, so I like it for that reason. I think I will certainly continue to use it. I have no plans to cancel it.
Well, so, I think that's a great endorsement for GameFly. So GameFly, send us some money.
Yeah.
You just won the ability to sponsor a future episode of the Gaming Gig podcast. Yeah.
Go ahead and let us know how much you're willing to pay for us to continue to use this service.
And you know who do sponsor the Gaming Gig podcast?
Who do?
Cana Bridge of Spirits for PS5. Get caned like never before in Cana Bridge of Spirits. Not a sponsor.
I thought you said they do sponsor.
Not a sponsor, man.
Not a sponsor.
No.
Yeah. So
you know that.
I know that. Trust me, I've not seen any Cana Bridge of Spirits checks.
Yeah, you're behind the scenes, man.
I wish I had.
Don't play the fool.
Okay, a big thing happened this week.
Well, you're not getting any money from Cana and keeping it from me, are you?
No, I promise you. I promise you we don't get any Cana money.
Because that would be super awkward if we were both doing that.
All right.
Sorry.
Moving on now. Sorry, you guys, that Daniel was trying to distract you.
I'm funny.
hilarious. So a big thing happened this week in that Google announced that Stadia is shutting down.
Wait, what's shutting down?
Stadia. Google, I know you know what Google Stadia is because we've done a podcast on Google Stadia where we were...
Must have been a slow news week.
It probably was. We were pretty critical about the service.
Yeah.
We looked at what games were available. We looked at the service, how much it costs for the pro membership, and we were quite critical about it.
Yes, we were.
And that video that we made talking about it has gone on to be our most disliked video that we have ever created.
I didn't know that statistic.
Well, there you go. So it does...
All these people out there being champions of Google Stadia, huh?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe vote with your money and not your dislikes, people.
Yeah.
Because it didn't work.
Yeah. I mean, there are people who really like the service. We were quite critical on it, and although we have used it.
I have used it.
We have used the service. We have been Stadia Pro subscribers.
Yes.
Apparently that didn't matter. But neither of us kept using the service.
Nope.
If I remember correctly, both of us were Stadia Pro subscribers, but only because they gave us a free subscription for a period of time.
Yes, and we both said it worked pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Like I think it worked quite well. Like the best cloud gaming experience probably that I ever had.
Yeah, it worked better than xCloud has for me, for sure. Mm-hmm. Remember that time we tried to stream using xCloud? Oh my gosh, that was a horrible experience. But I've had some luck with xCloud, and then also not. You played like Sea of Thieves a lot using xCloud.
I did. I played Sea of Thieves. Why was I doing that? But because I didn't have my Xbox Series X.
That was back when you had an Xbox One, and it was so.
And the load times were so bad that I eventually did start using xCloud. Mm-hmm. And then when I finally got my Xbox and got back to no lag, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, you couldn't believe how much lag there was with xCloud. But Stadia really has been a good streaming service in terms of like the quality of cloud streaming you're getting. It's very good.
Yeah.
But that has not changed the fact that Stadia is shutting down on January 18th.
Yep. It's like it's live until January 18th and then it's gone.
But what isn't live anymore is the Stadia store. You can no longer purchase games on Stadia, and they are refunding every person who ever purchased a game through Stadia. They're refunding all the games, and they're refunding if you purchased hardware, which means you should be getting a refund for your Stadia.
No, because I bought my Stadia controller and stuff through Best Buy.
No, Daniel.
I didn't buy it straight through Google.
No.
I know.
I was given, Google sent me a Google Stadia controller and Chromecast Ultra for free. So I suppose I will not be getting a refund for something that I didn't pay for.
I still can't believe that you got that deal because you were a YouTube Premium subscriber, which I was too, and you didn't tell me about it until the deal was gone.
I told you about it. The deal was a very short window.
Well, you didn't tell me immediately, and that's how short the window was. Because basically, as soon as you told me, I looked and it was gone.
I know, I'm so sorry.
That was like a day later in Randy's defense. He didn't wait that long.
I really didn't wait that long. But.
Oh, well.
So, they're refunding all hardware purchased through the Google store, which you didn't do. Ah, man, you should have. Why'd you buy it through Best Buy?
Because I was at Best Buy and I wanted it.
Yeah.
I wanted to try it, and I didn't think...
And they specifically said that purchases through things like Best Buy would not be refunded, right?
And I didn't think there would ever be a time when they were going to give me my money back. True. So, what was the point? You know?
Right. So, Daniel, why did this happen? Why is Stadia done?
Well, I don't think anybody gave a crap about it. Mm-hmm. I don't think they did a very good job just putting it in the people's eyes in a way that maybe would have worked. That's kind of vague, but I don't think they marketed it very well. They also canceled all those games they were going to make that were going to be like Stadia exclusives. I mean, they didn't offer a bunch of great games on Stadia Pro like we already talked about. They didn't have anything going for them.
Yeah. I think that the main thing is they needed a game. They
canceled all the games.
They needed that killer app. They needed the thing that's going to sell you on Stadia. They needed the game. They needed to pump whatever money they needed into the service to make that game.
You know, The Quarry was going to be one of those games.
It was. I don't think The Quarry would have saved Stadia.
No, I don't either.
But it would have been cool. I mean,
if you guys don't know what we're talking about, they had some Stadia exclusive games that were being developed, and they canceled them all.
Well, yeah, because they realized that. I think the writing was on the wall at that point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And they realized, hey, this isn't gonna.
So maybe it was already too late. at that point. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it made me sad because I don't know. I thought it was cool. I thought it would be really cool if it worked like perfectly. I still think cloud gaming is cool. It's not my preference because I can't collect them, but I still think it's cool, and I still, part of me still thinks it's going to be a big part of the future. So
I think it's going to be. I think we're just too early because I think we're at a point where the lag, and this may be an insurmountable, thing.
Maybe
it may be something that you can't fix because you can't change the speed of light. So
not with that attitude.
I think there's always going to be some sort of lag if we're talking about controlling a system that is hundreds of miles away.
Yeah.
It's just going to happen. There's going to be lag. And it may not be much, but there's going to be lag. There's things you can do. Like, I think there's some smart things that people who are smarter than me have some solutions for that. But
yeah,
like some AI where it predicts what you're going to do and based on how your controls work, and it kind of reduces lag that way. That would be cool. I've heard some people talk about something like that.
Yeah.
But I think that's still far off. I think that.
Do you think Stadia is just ahead of its time? You think 10 years from now we're going to look back on Stadia and be like, it's just ahead of its time?
No, because this is not. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I think that is it ahead? Well, now that
was it too ambitious? Maybe that's what I'm
was
saying.
It too ambitious? Maybe. I just don't think people want to play cloud gaming that much. I think that's the problem. I think that it's not that it was ahead of its time. I think that for right now in the current technology, it did pretty good.
I do too.
I think that the main problem with Stadia is that they were trying to force people to play games in a way that they don't want to play games.
Yeah.
Not that they're trying to force you, but if you go through Stadia, it's the only option is cloud gaming. And I think the people who want to cloud game, is very small. I think if you had a choice between console gaming or PC gaming versus cloud gaming, why would you choose cloud gaming?
Maybe just don't have any of those other things, maybe.
Yeah,
there's talk that Xbox is going to release their streaming stick, at some point.
Yeah, but they still have consoles.
Right.
I think if Stadia had released a console,
yeah,
where you could download the games and play them locally, we might be having a different conversation here.
I wonder if they could have maneuvered, some sort of Stadia specific Chromecast to be able to do that somehow.
Yeah, but the thing is, they'd have to have so much storage on it.
Yeah.
But still, I think maybe at that point, maybe they would have still been able to be relevant, but I don't know. I really don't know. That's just getting into the console game at that point, and really, PlayStation and Xbox and Nintendo have gotten the console market locked down. I just don't think there's much room for a competitor right now.
Yeah, that's a shame too because the controller I really liked.
Yeah, the Stadia controller was good.
Controller. It's really good. It's very comfortable.
Yeah,
looked cool. Had little accents of orange on it. At least mine did. Mine was the white one. I don't know what yours was.
But we asked over on YouTube, are you surprised that Google Stadia is shutting down? And I guess no one was surprised because 94% of people said no, they're not surprised, and 6% of people said yes, they are. So, obviously, everyone expected Google Stadia to shut down eventually.
Yeah, nobody ever said anything good about it. It was done.
Apparently, go back and look at the comments on the video where we were critical against Stadia. People do say good things about it.
Yeah, maybe they do.
There might be comments
behind the
on
safety of their keyboard, maybe.
and the thing is, I'm saying Stadia was a good service.
Me too.
It was a good service. It just wasn't.
It wasn't ready.
I don't know that it wasn't ready. I just don't think people want a cloud game, man.
Well, they didn't give us many games to cloud game.
Right. If they had a game that made you do it, it was an undeniable banger.
We'd have done it.
Yeah, we'd have been there.
Yeah.
So we had some comments here.
Yeah,
Determined Torres says, honestly, most of us aren't surprised. We were just waiting for this moment to happen after all.
Yeah, I'm with you.
That's what the poll says.
Heather Cook, longtime commenter, said surprised? No. Sad? Yes. One of my best friends uses Stadia to play Elder Scrolls Online every day. It's a big part of his social life. ESO isn't available on any other streaming service bar xCloud, and that's the Xbox version, which crucially has a different player base and a different save system. So unless ESO gets added to GFN or Luna or something, he's going to have to stop playing the game that has become so important to him, or start over on Xbox without his characters. he has spent thousands of hours on, and without the friends he's made along the way, which is the worst part. I added that. Heather didn't say that. He hasn't heard about Stadia yet, but when he does, he's going to come to me for solutions. And when I tell him the only solution is to buy his own gaming PC that I know he can't afford, I know it's going to break him.
That is actually really sad.
That is a sad story.
Because, you know, if you've been playing a big like multiplayer online game like Elder Scrolls Online, and you've made it like, think about like all the games we've played, like Sea of Thieves and Fortnite. Like we've really gotten into those, and we've created communities with people and made friends through these services. And if all of a sudden it was like taken away from us,
yeah, that would suck.
That would be awful.
Yeah, that would really suck. And then all they did was send us a $60 check in the mail.
Yeah,
we'd be kind of mad.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't put a price on friendship, Randy.
No, you really. Well, I mean, like that. This is something that like. This is probably pretty rare that someone uses Stadia as like their exclusive way to play something like this. One thing I brought up in a comment to Heather is that Elder Scrolls Online actually isn't that intensive on a PC. So if he has any sort of PC, maybe he could still play the game because it's not that. It is like you do have to have like at least some sort of like a okay graphics card and like an okay computer, but it's not like it's super intensive. So maybe there's a chance still.
That would be good.
Or maybe Luna. Maybe it'll be added to Luna.
Maybe.
Let's hope that. I mean, let's just hope it gets added to Luna.
Yeah, that is a sad story.
So that is sad to hear. Max here. Max. I'm not going to try to pronounce this last name.
I was waiting on that.
I'm not even going to try. Well, Max here said, didn't know that Stadia existed.
I hear you, Max.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you don't know, I think that was a problem. They really didn't advertise it much. Now, initially, back when it first, like, leading up to it, I heard so much about it.
Me too.
And then it released, and it was like, they only thought about advertising it up until it released. And then after that, I never saw a single ad. I never heard anybody talk about it after it released.
Yep. And then to piggyback on that, Night Owl Games said, never heard of it. Which I don't know if I don't know this person actually, but I don't know if Night Owl is being genuine.
We know them through comments.
Yes, we know them through comments. I'm saying
we've had lots of comments.
You
don't know them personally.
Yes, I just assumed that Night Owl Games was a dude. That's what I'm saying. So
Okay,
I don't know that. So anyway, a channel that has games in the name, like you may be being a little facetious. I don't know, but I feel you. I feel where you're coming from.
Yeah, Stadia really didn't get the promotion that it should have.
No.
It really didn't get pushed, and there was no big game. Now, there was a Stadia exclusive game that apparently people did like. Okay. I don't remember the name of it.
And there lies the issue.
It's like, come on. So, are you surprised that Stadia closed down?
Let us know why not.
So, all right, man. Our last segment of the podcast today, the games of the week.
Sick.
Yeah. So, what games have we been playing this week? Daniel?
You want me to lead us off?
Sure. What games have you been playing this week?
My games of the week are going to be different than normal because I haven't booted up my Switch probably all week. I've been busy with school. Sorry. Of course, I've been playing the Fortnites. Of course. And I did play a little bit of Last of Us Part 1. I'm working on it. But I have been playing some mobile games, which is kind of weird for me. But I'm playing Shovel Knight Dig. As you know, I was playing that yesterday on a set break.
I did see you play that.
And I'm playing that on iOS because it's available on mobile, on Switch, and on Steam. And the cheapest way that I saw to play it was on mobile. So I bought 1 month of Apple Arcade because you have to have Apple Arcade to play it. Thanks, Apple. I wish I could have just bought it. And I immediately canceled it. But that means I have access to it for basically all of October. It was $5, and I'm playing Shovel Knight Dig. And it's been fun. I'm also playing another game on there called Alto's Odyssey. You ever played Alto's Adventure? That's an older mobile game.
No.
It's like a snowboarding game. It's like a one-finger thing. It's very mind-numbing and fun. And before I was playing Shovel Knight Dig, I was playing a game called Downwell. And one of / the, I don't really know exactly, makers of Downwell also worked on Shovel Knight Dig. They're pretty similar. And those are both great on mobile. So if you're looking
mobile
to play...
games. different games of the week. That is very strange.
It is.
But cool.
Yeah.
I used to love mobile games. I used to play them a lot. Not anymore.
You used to play mobile games all the time.
All the time.
And it makes if you can find a mobile game you like your phone's always with you, so like that makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah, I don't play any. I play like puzzle games on my phone. That's about it.
It makes me sad that I'm not going to have Shovel Knight Dig forever. That's kind of dumb. I really wish I could have just.
Well, you could always like wait and buy. Like, it's not coming physically to Switch. I'm sure it's digital only.
I don't know. It'd
be cool to have a physical version. But so my games of the week have been. So I finished. Let's think here. What games I've been playing Resident Evil 5. That's like the main one I've been playing this week. Resident Evil 5, and that's kind of October's here. And so I wanted to have like a kind of a spooky game. That being said, Resident Evil 5 isn't that spooky. It's not really a scary game. It's nothing even close to something like Resident Evil 7 or Village. But it is fun-ish, but I should say it is fun. I like Resident Evil games. I like Resident Evil games a lot. So I like this game, but I do understand that like I went into it knowing that 5 and 6, like I haven't played 6 yet, but I went into it knowing that 5 and 6 were kind of the worst Resident Evil games, according to most people. So, yeah, it's not as good as the other Resident Evil games that I've played. Like I loved 4, I loved the 2 and 3 remake, and 7, of course, 7 and 8. I love all those games so much. I even really liked Resident Evil. Gosh, what is the one that was for 3DS?
Revelations,
yes. I like that one a lot too. So this one is definitely not as good as any of the other Resident Evil games that I've played. But
high praise.
I think that it is still good. I think that it's still good. And I just want to experience it because I love Resident Evil so much. And although this one isn't up there, it's still very good. So I've been playing that. Catherine and I finished playing Stray. And that was really fun. And we, I should say, it was really fun, but it wasn't like blow your socks off amazing. But it was good.
Nice.
And we started, after we finished Stray, we started playing Little Big Planet 3. Which is a 2D platformer.
Yeah, and you're a big fan of those Little Big Planet spin. What was Sackboy? You're a big fan of Sackboy.
I loved Sackboy. Yeah. Which is coming to PC October 27th.
He just has that in his mind.
I know that because I just
sick.
I just made a PlayStation News Minute video, and that was one of the segments.
Nice.
So it's coming to PC.
All right.
You were looking something up over here.
Yeah, so I just want to give a quick shout out to the 2 people who are currently in the 3 for Dale Club here. Shout out to Tyler, who's actually a personal friend of ours, and Landon Stallings for giving us 3 for Dale and watching until the end last week. Remember, guys, give us a 3 for Dale if you watch the whole video.
Yeah. So until next time, guys, I'm Randy.
And I'm Daniel.
And this has been Gaming Gig.
3 for Dale.